Hey, 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 y'all. Just a little quick video. Finishing up this job. Quick little live video. Not going to be actually doing any printing on here. I may do some printing, but finishing up. Ken just printed this job. I didn't print this job. Hey, y'all. How's it going? As you come into the chat, let me know that you're up in here, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Mannequins are naked behind me because I happened to use those on this last job that we did. This is a job that Ken just got through printing, y'all, right here. Just a quick little one color job. Quick little one color job. Ken just told me when I walked out, he said, I love printing from home. Right? He says nothing better than printing from home. I had some dental work done yesterday, y'all, and so my mouth bled from 2 p.m. yesterday until like midnight, so my mouth is really sore. So I didn't want to do any printing, so Ken came out here and knocked all of these off for me. So I just had to come out here and size the shirts. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when I've got like a quick little order and I don't have a table set up or anything to size my shirts, if you have a 4-color press, you've got small, medium, large, extra large. So I just stand by the table and just turn the press around and get in the sizes that I need. That one is a 2X. Talk about bread and butter jobs. These are the type of jobs that I like. We actually let this client, she brought her own shirts. Yes, she sure did. I let her bring her own shirts. I am now letting people bring their own shirts. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all why. And what I think so far about printing from home. Tell y'all how I'm feeling about this printing from home thing. So far, so good. It's lovely. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. I really am. I am loving it. Once I set this up, we'll probably do a couple of prints here in a second, y'all. So I'm loving running the shop from home. We haven't gotten any really big orders yet, so I don't know how the shop is going to handle if we get, let's say, an order of like 500 pieces. When I say big orders, if we got to do 300 shirts in here, we'll be fine. I think once we get up to doing like 500 shirts, then it may become a challenge. I'm not really sure because both of the dryers are working. I've got 2 dryers in here, 2 dryers, and I actually have 4 presses in here. So I could, if let's say if Ken averages out on something like this, he'll average out on a bigger print about 70 shirts an hour, right? If he's in his zone and he's really just doing his thing. So we could still knock that off in a day. And but he doesn't like to print like 8 hours straight. Nobody prints 8 hours straight in their shop. If they tell you that they're printing 8 hours straight, then they're lying. They're not really standing on your feet printing like 8 hours straight. You do when you have employees, you run them an 8-hour day. But out of a 8-hour day, like when we had our shop, we would print 5 hours a day. 5 hours out of the day, the guys would print. The rest of the time, um, that would be doing something else, setting up jobs, coding screens, sitting around, lollygagging, stuff like that. But I don't have my big commercial dryer in here. And I purposely did that because, for one, I didn't want to take it out from over there, bring it over here. I guess if we needed to do a big job, then we could go over there and do the job. But so far, we haven't done any type of printing but what we've been doing here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So for me and my business, y'all, I fold the shirts just like this. I fold them in half. I do a 12 count. When there are 12 shirts, I fold in stacks of 12 just like this and put them in the box. That's it. That's all we do. That is all we do around here. And we just put them in the box by size, right? We've got 2. I could have swore that he had some small. Oh, I thought I was through with this order. I ain't through with this order. Nowhere near. Well, it's done printing, but there are still shirts over there on the other end. There are still shirts in the drop box. I promise I'm going to do a whole shop video here pretty soon. I will be doing a whole video, y'all, on the shop, showing y'all everything I don't have. Like, when I'm in here, I've got, let's see, I'm not going to take anything, move the camera, but over here, this is the one of the dryers that we have here. Over there, we have a heat press. There's a heat press on a table over here. Behind here, there's a table. You can't really see it. And then over on that side, we have a dryer. All of that is the equipment for the, mainly for the live events. So right now, I have 2 presses on the floor because we did the live event. And then over here, we have inks and whatnot on this shelf. Those inks are going to come off of this shelf. Those inks are going to come off of the shelf, and all of those screens are going to go on this shelf, and then up above here is where the inks are going to go. So it's going to be nice once I totally get everything together. Right now we have 3 heat presses in here. 3 heat presses, 1, 2, 3, 4 big presses. So we got a lot of stuff up in this place just to show you what all you can do, you know, from home. I'm going to do a little screen print for y'all in a second. Let me finish doing this. Tell me what y'all out there doing. What do y'all have going on today? And as y'all are talking about that, I'm going to talk about bread and butter jobs. This is a bread and butter job, what we call bread and butter job in the screen printing business, right? Because it is a 1-color design, you can create a screen for it really quick and easy. Now, is that the large? That's medium. All of those are medium? Yep, all of those are medium. So, wow, she has a lot of mediums. No, she doesn't. That's me adding stuff to her order. So, when you're screen printing, this is how I make the most of my money, screen printing. Jobs like this, right? This is how I make most of my money. doing simple one color jobs, right? Simple one color jobs at retail prices. We can do bulk prices or we can do retail prices, and there is a difference. There is retail pricing, there's wholesale pricing, and then there's also like contract pricing. So this is actually what you would consider wholesale pricing. um that's a small shirt. So an order like this, I don't even know, I think this was 50 shirts. This was 50 shirts, was what she told me. This client, she provided the shirts. This was $200, right? $200, nothing but ink and screen, because she did provide the shirts. So when customers provide the shirts, it used to be a time that we would make them supply more shirts than what they actually needed, but we don't do that anymore, right? We don't do that anymore. So we now just pretty much, if it's something that we've printed on, we don't make them supply more shirts because Ken never misses. The dude never misses, right? So we don't need test shirts or anything like that anymore. So for this job at 50 shirts, how much would you charge for 50 shirts? On this particular job, I charge her $200 for 50 shirts. Why? It's about 30 minutes of work on press. 30 minutes of work on press. Took me another 5 minutes to coat the screen, another 5 minutes to burn the screen, and the rest of the time is pretty much the screens are just sitting there drying and doing, whatever it's doing. And it doesn't even take 5 minutes to burn a screen, but as far as doing like registering it on the screen, after 45 minutes, I didn't really pay it too much attention on what he was out here doing. We are in between print jobs. Y'all know when I print, and then I chill out. Yesterday I fell. That Michelle pushed me. She ain't on the channel no more, but I think that sometimes you need to go and make amends. What I mean when she pushed me, y'all, Shell's my family. I love her. We ain't been talking. But I put on a pair of shoes yesterday, headed out the door to the doctor's office. And it was a pair of platform shoes that I didn't wear because I've been mad at her butt, right? So I ain't been talking to her. That heifer must have voodooed me or something and knocked me down and probably said, "Heifer, you over there being mean to me and not returning my calls and counseling me, so I'm going to push your butt down." That's probably what she did. So I got to call this girl and make amends so that I won't be having no bad luck falling over here on my ass. But anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we got about 40 minutes in there. And as far as ink, this ink is pennies on the dollar to put this on here. We probably got maybe 5 cents worth of ink on there. We'll say 5 cents, probably less. But we buy the ink in much invested in it as far as the screens go. And this is what I want to tell people. As far as like the screens go, when you're screen printing, this one screen right here that I'm using, y'all, this is a screen. This screen right here has probably been used, I don't know. This one looks still pretty good. It may have been used 20 times, but I can easily get about 50 designs out of this one screen, right? So let's say if I pay $25 for a screen, I paid $25 for the screen. I'm going to use the screen, burn my image, reclaim it, use it over and over and over and over and over. Right? There's a few pennies off in there that you have to add in for emulsion and stuff like that, but it's so minute, right? So let's say that you made $175 for 45 minutes of printing. Less than you printed less than an hour, right? I like to make at least $250 an hour when I'm printing. But we didn't provide the shirts, so wasn't too much to, wasn't really too much to do. So since I didn't provide the shirts, I didn't have to go online, search for the shirts or anything like that. Now, because I am printing at home, it does pose a challenge, I would say, for most people when you print at the house, because then your clients have to either come to your house or you have to go and meet them, right? And so for this particular lady, y'all know most of my clients are people that I deal with. I know her, but I cannot figure out how I know her, right? But I know that I know her because she called me, and she called me by name, and she called me on my number and all that stuff. But I've done so much printing for people over the years that I really can't remember everybody that I printed something for. This design right here, I actually ended up redoing it. It's not the best design, but it looks pretty good, and she liked it. And what I did put this design in my Facebook group. All I did was just grab she wanted to say, this cruise about to be lit. Our family just boarded the ship. And the about right there, I wanted to do that I wanted to print the shirt in white. I recommended printing the shirt in white and putting black with white ink around here, and then that would have gave it some type of pop, right? Or doing this in a black shimmer. But you can't do what you want to do. You got to do what the customer wants you to do, right? And then I actually wanted to put that about to be lit. I wanted to put that in a bold font and then switch up the family into a script font, but it didn't happen. So anyways, $175 for an hour. If you have 2 of these in a day, or 3 or 4 or 5, think of how easy it is for you to make $1,000 a day, right? And this is just with them providing the shirts and me just throwing out a price saying I'll do it for $4 a shirt, right? So one way that you can make money at home screen printing is because people need stuff fast, which this wasn't fast, y'all. It still took me a week, right? It still took me a week because I work out about a week. This week was my chill week, and so I did not start on this till today. But those are all ready to be packaged up. They all look great. There's not too much ink on them. It's not over printed. I'll show y'all something. So this shirt right here, I had Ken print this using a 156 mesh screen. He could have done this on like a 180 or 195 mesh, which would have gave it a barely there feel. But what the 156 mesh screen does is you don't see that shiny, real shiny. You see the light shining on it, but it's not shining this print, right? Just a regular black print. You don't see too much ink. It's not too thick or anything like that. Now, y'all know I'm on the channel that I keep it real. Me, I prefer my black shirts to be printed. I like a vintage look like this. This is a misprint, y'all. See how it's over to the side, but this is a misprint. This is a vintage print, right? So I like more of a vintage feel, a barely there feel. I would have wanted to print that through like a 180, 195 mesh because I like more of a vintage feel. But what I've found is when you deal with certain demographics, they want the ink, right? They don't want you cutting the ink. They don't want you giving them a little bit of ink. Some people feel that if you don't put enough ink on the shirt, the print's gonna wash off. So you gotta know your customer, right? So that's it with that shirt. With that, what he did with that, let's see. See, maybe I can. Did he not print these? Oh yeah, he did print these. I got shirts around here all the time. One thing that you got to do is make sure you look in the bin. And I've got shirts in that bin over there that I've got to send out some shirts to Tampa. And I got to send out some shirts to Orleans. So I brought those extra shirts, some extra shirts here with me. I don't have enough room here to put my, all of my inventory. So I'm figuring all of that stuff out as I go. But okay, so since this lady provided these shirts to me, I'm just gonna throw them back in the bag that she gave them to me in, and drop them suckers off back to them. Right? When customers provide their own stuff, I don't do anything special. I do fold them. I do fold them. So you just think, I mean, if you are out there and you're thinking about, hey, what's the way that I can screen print? Like if you were doing this in vinyl, how long would this take you to cut this in vinyl and then do it? I came out 7 o'clock this morning. We did not have any clean screens. No, we got clean screens, but we didn't have any screens that were coated. So I had to coat a couple of screens, y'all. I had to come out, coat the screens, and I coated the screens while I was sipping coffee through a straw because my dentist told me don't drink any coffee, and I'm supposed to be on fluids, but I'm from that generation of we gonna eat through anything, so that ain't happening over here with me. So I coated the screen. Literally took me 5 minutes, and then I went back in, sat down on my butt, watched the news, all that stuff, drunk my coffee, and then in about 30 minutes I came out. Those screens were dry, and I burnt them. And I burnt them on the homemade unit. That took about another 5 minutes. Took it outside, washed it out, sat on my butt a little while longer. Right? Did a couple of YouTube edits for videos and stuff like that. Easy money. Easy money. I would recommend that if you don't have the room for screen printing and you're doing t-shirts, get you a one color press. Even with one color presses make money. You could do stuff like this. It's no excuse, right? I'm gonna come over here and show y'all this press right here. This is a one color press. This is a one color press. So you can still do a one color press and a heat press. You're still going to be printing shirts much faster than you would be printing vinyl. Okay. And a job like this, if you don't want to coat screens, a job like this, you could easily cut out in vinyl and you would still be able to get the job done. See, we got presses down there. We got a press over there on the floor somewhere off in there. Just presses everywhere, y'all. So you still be able to get, your job done. I'm going to sit this down and figure out what's the best angle for me to be at, because I'm going to print just a couple of shirts, maybe one or two, just to kind of show a little print technique. Don't really print too much on the channel, so let's see here. Oh, this would be nice. That's a nice green shirt. This will look good on the green. Let me find a place to sit, y'all. So tell me in the comments if you're interested in screen printing. Let me see, as I'm setting this up, making sure that I got a place to print this job. So we're gonna print this. Ain't this a beautiful green shirt? Look at that. Let me see here. Maybe I can get y'all over this way, and I'm gonna come in just a little bit closer. Beautiful, beautiful green shirt. This shirt is the Gildan soft style. Oh, honey, I spent some money on these people. This is a Gildan soft style shirt, y'all. I was going to do a live event for a company on St. Patty's Day, and I backed out because it was just too dang cold for me. And I ain't doing all that. I'm not doing all that no more. So if the contract states that I don't print in 50-degree weather, then I don't print in 50-degree weather. Right? We're going by the contract nowadays. So plate is not, I don't have any sticky tack on here. Let's see if Ken has any on any of these plates. So with our plates, we spray sticky tack on them, or a glue that we lay down on them. This one feels okay. Gonna load my shirt up, pull my shirt back normally to here, or you figure out, okay, where that print starts, right? This is a pretty big design, so I'm gonna pull it back just a little bit more, right? And so wherever, the way that we get all of these shirts, if I go over there and I show you the shirts, which I should have folded them in half and showed them to you. The way that when you're screen printing, one thing that you want is consistency throughout your batch when you're screen printing, right? And what I mean is, if some of the prints are here, you want all the prints here. You don't want prints here, 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 up, down. You want them all together. I've got a video on that where I show you guys where you can take your shirts, check your presses, take your shirt, fold your shirt in half like this, fold another shirt in half on the opposite design. That design should line up. If it's not lining up, it's something wrong with your press. So you just have to make sure that all of your plates are in the same exact place. So we're just gonna line that and sit that. So I see a lot of people screen printing on YouTube, and I see a lot of stuff that you could do a lot better. Now, because we're printing white ink, we don't necessarily need to flood, right? We don't need to flood this. We can push it, or we just pull it one time. My normal method for printing white ink is for me to flood the screen and then push, right? So right now I don't have any ink here on the screen. I could take this and come up this way right here, put my squeegee behind this ink and just push that, right? And if I push it again, I don't want to push it with more ink. I'm just pushing it to make sure that the ink that's in there cleared the screen, right? That's all I want to do, is make sure the ink cleared the screen. I don't want to add more ink to the screen. And what you see is a lot of times people add more ink to the screen. And so when you push it that second time and you push it and you add more ink to the screen, when you run your design through the dryer, it's going to dry, and then it's going to gloss up, and it's going to look shiny, right? And it's going to look like vinyl. If people wanted vinyl, they would have bought vinyl, right? So that's that method. So that's the job right there, right? We'll just sit that on here because the dryer is off, and I'll go ahead and print another one, but I'm going to do it on a different color shirt, right? So you don't want to have more ink on the shirt than what you need, especially if you're doing multiple color jobs. When you're doing multiple color jobs, you do not want to have too much more ink than what you need, right? So, did he print on my famous bulldog shirt? Yes, he did. This is my bulldog shirt, y'all. You see this right here? This is through a 195 mesh. Look at the detail. This one right here, if you've been on the channel, you've seen it a lot. I'm gonna grab another shirt because them green shirts, honey, those is expensive. So we're not gonna print on all them shirts right there. We'll print on something else. Let's see here. That's a 3X. Let me find something else to print on. The other thing is, I'm gonna tell y'all, you gotta know the brand of shirt that you're printing on, like the quality of shirt, right? That you're printing on and how those shirts take ink. So a lot of people ask me, hey, why do you always push Hanes shirts? Hanes shirts actually print better than Gildan shirts, right? You want to match the ink, the consistency of your ink to your shirt. So if we're printing on a soft style shirt, we don't want to put a lot of ink on the soft style shirt, right? You can purchase a one color press off Amazon. One color press off Amazon, $100. That's all you need to spend on a one color press is $100. You don't need to go and spend $1,500 on a Vastex one color press or anything, because all it's doing is staying in the same place, y'all. I'm going to show y'all that 4-color press. As soon as Ken puts it back up, I'm going to start doing videos on that cheap Amazon 4-color press and show y'all how I make it make money. But this shirt right here, this is a Hanes Beefy Tee, right? So since I've got this Beefy Tees lay, Hanes shirts are really, really smooth. The print foundation, right? It's a tighter weave shirt, right? Their shirts are tighter weaves on the cotton shirts, especially on the Beefy Tee. So on this Beefy Tee, I may want to do one quick flood like this, right? What happens when you do the flood? I didn't clear this all the way. Normally, if I'm printing white, I'm going to clear this where I can see the design, right? But I don't need to do that because we print black. But it's still nice and smooth when you look at the screen. There's no lumps of ink or anything like that. What that does is it actually pushes this ink down through the inkwell, right? Pushes that down through. And if you look real close to the side, you see a very thin stencil. If I had pushed it all the way through, you see a thick stencil. That's the key to printing white ink. You got to print for real, to be able to teach somebody how to print. Y'all out there printing on YouTube, but you got to print for real to be able to teach somebody how to print. That's the key to leveling up in your print game. And don't think that customers don't see it, because they do, right? So when I'm printing, either I'm pushing or I'm pulling. Back in the day when I came out and I started pushing, right? I would call it print like a girl. Everybody was laughing. Oh, she prints like a girl, blah, blah, blah. But check this out. Your body mechanics, you can do more prints coming this way. Me, I do like this here. Like I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? Put one foot in front of the other, and I got my little bounce right here on, like I'm finna whoop you. Okay, like me and the screen, we finna go to war. So that's how I print. And then I do a little kickoff, right? That's me, how I print. Everybody has their style of printing. So I'm normally pushing this squeegee, right? But you can also come from here and come straight like this. Notice, I'm using all this muscle. I'm using this right here when I do this. Look. I'm using muscle to do that, to get that done, right? But now we don't normally pull and push. We're going to push it because I'm doing demonstration. When I push, and this is what people say, when you push, you're not laying as much ink on the screen, right? You got to know where to push. You're pushing on the edge of this screen, right? So when I push and I go this way, it's just more natural. It's just more natural for me to push that way. Now, y'all gonna see that screen come up. Now, I'm gonna show y'all the difference. We pushed, we put, and we pulled, and so now we got 2 layers of ink on the screen. Show you how thick this looks. I don't know if y'all can tell from over there. Let me get my camera and come on up in here and see if I can get in here and I can turn this around. Okay. So you see this? This is what I'm talking about. Thick, shiny prints. This is what you see a lot of times with newbies when they're printing, right? Now look at this print. Can y'all tell the difference? Can you tell the difference in the prints? You got this print here. This has too much ink on the shirt. The other thing that you'll notice is if you are, let's say if you are printing, right? And you're printing, hey Levi, how are you? If you're printing, okay, and you start to notice that your plate right here, that this plate right here, you're printing and ink is coming through the plate, that means you need to up your mesh count, right? A lot of times people don't study and learn about mesh counts. So the higher the mesh counts, the more detail that you're going to get with your print, right? And the finer that print is going to look, it's going to look like it's going to look and feel like it was made into the shirt, right? So when we print something like this, people love it because this has a barely there feel. If I spend a lot of money with you, right? And let's say I got customers, most of my customers for next level 3,600, they may be up at about $14, $15 a shirt. When we get into the tri-blend, sometimes you may be at $17, $18 a shirt, just depending on quantity, right? So let's say they're paying, let's talk wholesale costs. We're talking about printing on a shirt that's $2.50 versus printing on a shirt that's going to cost you $5.50 or $6, right? So if I pay that extra amount of money for a soft shirt, right, I'm going to want a softer feel. So that's how you level up when you're printing and you set yourself aside from the competition. It took me years and years and years. This is just experience, y'all. It's just experience. Years of experience of printing that I learned all of these different things. And once I learned these things, I learned how to set myself apart from other printers in the game, right? That's why I can come home and I can print and still make my money like I can, right? That's why people just specifically reach out and call me. You can also add soft hand additives into things, but you really don't have to. Now, if you're printing a white ink, if I'm printing a white ink, I want that white ink to be thick. Let me do this. Well, we got a couple of screen printers up here on here. Maybe y'all can learn something, the ones that are looking to level up if you don't already know. Keisha, I think this will be good for you to check this out. Let me see here. Let me find another shirt, y'all. I don't want to just be printing up all these shirts. Okay. Now, if we are printing white ink, right? The key to printing white ink is going to be, the first thing you want to do when you're printing white ink is to stir that ink up, right? Stir that ink up. Let me show y'all something what I got on Amazon the other day and how I am about to set this up, because now that I'm here in the shop and I'm printing at home, I can level up and I can really get Ken and my son, I can really get them doing what I want them to do. These you buy off of Amazon. I purchased these off of Amazon, right? Because we're going to be mixing inks in quarts like this. And I don't want anyone taking them. Normally they take them from the gallon. But once we get it out the gallon, we want to put it in a quart, right? These are going to be numbers, job numbers. Sometimes you'll see the name of the company that it's printed for, because we do a lot of self-mixing. So, and I got coffee right there, but you guys get the idea. This stick right here, what this does is this mixes your ink. But you buy a drill, you put this on your drill bit, right? So you mix up that ink, you put in about enough that you want. These little cups here are on Amazon. I know they're in my Amazon store. Sometimes you can get the little paint containers, and those containers are flimsy, but these are good and they have a top on them. So if you're doing something like this, you can just mix up something and go. This is from the last screen print event we did. And you can just have a bunch of those and then you can just mix just what you need. But this right here will save you, because if you cream up that ink with these, it will save you time. Now, what we're going to do is we're not going to wash these. So I'm going to go this weekend. I'm going to go and get some little drawers, and we will be able to put, just as you paint, like as you mix up ink, like this one here is black. So it's just going to pretty much stay on there, because when you're printing, you ain't got time to keep cleaning stuff. So if you have one of these for each color that you have in your shop, right, that will really, really save you some time. When you're printing, especially when you're printing ink, white ink, you want to mix it up. So I'm going to get over here and show y'all my technique for printing black ink. I mean, for printing white ink, right? For printing white ink. We don't have white ink on the screen, but we're going to get some eventually. Let's see here. And when I get a job in here that I'm actually printing, and y'all, if you're doing a shirt, right? If you're using test prints on shirts, print all around the shirt, right? Here's a tip. Print all around the shirt. So let's say if we do a print there, I may do this print front and center. I may come back, use this same shirt to do a print on the side, to do a print here, to do a print here, to do a print here. Okay. If you do good test prints, you can then use that shirt, right, when you're talking to customers, or you can cut that shirt up, put it on the little squares, and display that shirt. And I'll show y'all something if the box is here. I don't know. I think it came. If it did, I'll show y'all. If not, I'll show you guys next time on another design. So if I am printing white ink, and I do this every single time that I print white ink, y'all, every single time. When I'm printing white ink, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to flood. You hear that? That even if you got to do it 2 times, you want to hear that, right? You pushing the ink through. You pushing the ink through. A while ago I showed y'all, and on here I got a place that I missed, but a while ago I showed y'all a stencil where I pushed the ink, but you couldn't see all of that ink nice and thick on that back. You see how nice and thick that is right there? That's the Lady Print Boss method right there. Now, that would be our white ink, right? That would be our white ink. So, you push that white ink through the stencil, you make a nice stencil, right? Then when you come back and you hit it, this is why I do not agree with people who say that if you push a squeegee, you're not laying enough ink. It's in the flood, y'all. It's in the flood. You come back and you hit it from the edge, right? Let me pick this up because I need a clean screen to show, squeegee to show y'all. You're going to print it from this edge right here. You don't want the whole edge. You don't want the whole thing. You're not printing flat. You're going to print at an angle, and you're pulling from right there. Just like you just spread butter, right? Quick and easy. You're just going to push from right there. I got all kinds of squeegees here. Here's a metal squeegee. These are really heavy, so I don't like to use the metal. I actually love, I'm going to show you all the squeegees that I actually use when I'm printing, because we ain't in no contacts in here, right? So when I'm printing, these are my favorite squeegees. They are nice and cheap. Thank you. Thank you, Levi. This squeegee is the one that I use. It is light. It is so light. I'm never going to get tired when I'm using it, right? If you are a woman and you're printing, right? Twitter fingers, okay? Don't push hard. Don't do this when you're printing, right? Don't do this, because now you're locking up, you're cramping up. You want it to be loose. You want it to be loose, and you're going to push with the palm of your hand. That's the boss method, y'all. That's the one that has gotten me industry famous. Okay. So here we go. I push that. I flooded that up. And now I can come here. If I got any extra ink here, I can come behind this with that white ink and boom. And I want that to pop up. We got a nice little pop up where we just filled that. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Now, you see it looks like an outline. You have just a little bit of off contact. You want that screen to be able to raise up. It pops up. You don't want the screen to stay on the design after you print it. I don't know if y'all can tell that the screen is up off of the design, but you want it to come up. I think you can tell right there because you can kind of see where it looks like a white outline, but that's actually the shirt. So once that pops up, then now you have a nice thick screen. I told y'all I'm about to run out of white ink, so out of black ink, but I didn't catch that. But you get the gist. So now we wanted this to be nice and thick like this because we're printing white, right? So those are just a few little tips for when you're screen printing on press. Just a couple of little tips for y'all, and give y'all another tip. When I'm printing and I get ink on my hands like this, right now I have these sanitizing wipes that Ken had in his car because I grabbed those, right? But normally I buy those cheap baby wipes. The cheapest of the cheapest baby wipes will clean up plastisol ink, right? And so if you have them, they are great. I use them, especially when we're out doing lives and things like that. They're really, really good to have. And they're super cheap, right? They're super, super cheap. So get you some baby wipes and keep those there, because as you're printing, you want to always make sure that you don't get the ink on your hand. There was ink from me touching screens and all kinds of stuff over there. But I hope y'all like this boss up. I just wanted to get on here since doing stuff, try to show y'all more about screen printing. So I'm glad that, you know, we are here doing this. And I'll tell y'all something else, one more tip. If you're screen printing and you don't have, let's say you don't have a heat press, you have a flash, and you're just drying with the flash, right? Take that shirt off of the press when you're done printing it and turn it to the side like this, right? Turn to the side like this, and then let your flash hover over it until it dries. You know, you need a heat gun. I recommend that every screen printer has a heat gun. You could do the same thing with a heat press, where you can let it hover over it so that it flash cures it, and then you can press it, you know, with a Teflon sheet. If you press a screen print with a Teflon sheet, you're going to get more of a glossy look. But if you do it with a silicone sheet or a piece of parchment paper or something like that, you're going to be good. I hope that helped y'all. Let me look through here, make sure nobody had any comments before I jump off, any questions or anything like that. But that's just a little bit of what's to come, y'all. I am planning a Bosscation. The Bosscation is going to be a 2 or 3 day event here in Dallas, in the Dallas area. The plan so far is to rent a mansion or a nice size Airbnb, have some people fly in and do what I do. We'll probably do a little bit of screen printing, a lot of heat pressing, a lot of marketing and things like that. If you are not a channel member, you may want to join the channel. Rising Boss and Above membership will get you into the training that I'm going to be doing on the 19th on the 19th, I'm going to be giving some secrets away that I only share with my top clients on how to get business, right? On how to get customers. And we're not talking about email marketing. Y'all know I'm crazy about email marketing, but I'm going to give you something that if you are not um, if you do not have not built that email list, right? Then how do you get customers without going outside of your house, right? So we're gonna talk about that, ways that you can advertise, how to figure out when you're doing if you're advertising on Google, how to figure out SEO, how to get your stuff to the top of the list, right? And I don't know what all is going to be in that class, but trust or believe for what you get for, I think it's $9.99. What you're getting for it is going to be well worth it. Again, I'm LaTonna Robinson, Lady Print Boss. I'm going to get my butt off of here, y'all, because my mouth is still hurting. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye. Oh, and I will put the link is actually already up. So if you are a member, if you go to the, I believe it's the community tab or that membership tab there on the channel, you will see the notification and you'll be able to get the link to the video. Talk to y'all in the next one. Bye bye.